teddy bear. You are a new passenger princess. Good. Let's do this. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today is pup date with Phil and Nico. So I should probably just start with Nico because she's quicker. So Nico had a sore on her elbow and a swollen elbow. It was bleeding, it was oozing. We went to the vets and it was infected. So she's been on a 7-day course of antibiotics, which is now finished. So the vet said that it happens often. So we often get comments about the dog's elbows. I think Nico's covering Phil's, but I will insert a clip. So this is Phil's elbow. It's just hard skin. So he's always got dark patches there. So you see this is a normal elbow, it's just dark patch where it's worn down, hard skin. And this is a bad elbow where it's been shaved and it's red. So it's normal for them to have dark patches of fur. You'll see that in most videos that they have a dark patch of fur where their elbow would be. But Nico's hard skin underneath that dark patch of fur had then cut over time of laying on hard surfaces. We noticed it whilst we was camping. And that's normal for a dog to have the hard patches, but hers broke the skin. So the recommendations are to try and get dog beds, which we have done now, but Malamutes like cool surfaces. So a dog bed wasn't the best thing or easiest to Milo every single video. Milo. Honestly, Milo. Get off. Come on. Hold on, your lead's caught. Yeah, Malamutes like cold surfaces. So trying to get them to lie on a dog bed with lots of padding is really difficult. So we tried cooling blankets because they're quite padded anyway. But then she, especially outside, because she's outside most of the time. She's not an outside dog. She sleeps in the house, but she prefers to be in the garden as much as possible. Guard in the house. So we put one outside and one inside, and she would just lie around it. She stopped laying in her normal spots to avoid laying on the cooling blanket. So that didn't work. So we've got an actual dog bed, which she is sort of taken to, but not. We'll see how it goes. And we're just gonna have to keep watching her elbows now. But she's okay. She's all good now. Oh yeah. Yeah. Say hello. You're fine, aren't you? You're fine. You go show your elbow off. Your bad elbow? Show me. There you go. So that's it at the moment. So it's still pink, but at least it's not infected anymore. But we've just got to keep an eye on it that it doesn't get re-infected now she's finished her course of antibiotics, don't we? Yeah. Good. Right, you're gonna hop down. You go over on this chair. You sit next to me. Come on. Okay, so moving on to Philly Bear. So it's been 3 weeks since he had his biopsies done and his blood test. We often get asked questions about this first and foremost. That's just from one of the blood tests the vet did, the normal vet. The specialist vet took it from his neck because she needed to take a really large sample, and she wouldn't have got that from his leg. And then the biopsies were taken from different parts of his body with different stages of hair loss. And what they did find through hair samples as well as the skin biopsies is that every hair that they pulled, he was sedated for this by the way, every hair that they pulled out was in the resting phase, so it wasn't new hair growth. They couldn't find a single new hair growth on his body, which explains a lot as to why we have to bath him more, because he's just got really poor fur condition in comparison to Nico, and that'll be because his fur is years old. I don't think he's shed his coat in 3 years now. Like in a Malamute, that Nico will shed 2 or 3 times a year, so it's not normal. So that's what they found first. Then the blood test came back and they ruled out hypothyroidism, which is what we've been treating him for the last, since November, one of the months. Anyway, that's where he had his blood test. So they've ruled out that, so we've been treating him for a condition that he's never had. Because their blood test was more extensive than the normal vets, even though with the normal vets we'd been for 3 blood tests over 3 years, 3 different types, well I assume different types of blood tests over 3 years, and then we tested for Cushing's at one point for our normal vet. So we've had multiple blood tests leading to the hypothyroidism diagnosis that is now no longer. So that was really frustrating. But then we felt like maybe we were getting some answers, because obviously the treatment wasn't working for his hair loss anyway, which explains why he never had it to begin with. And then she started hypothesizing, the specialist, that if she was to hazard a guess, she would think he had a descended testicle. And Phil was neutered at like 11 months old, so we were like, that can't be possible because he was neutered as a puppy. So we had to try and obtain his medical records of his neutering to make sure that there was a normal surgery and everything went fine. So we were trying to do that for a couple of weeks, because it was 6 and a bit years ago that he was neutered. So trying to find the medical history for that when it wasn't with the current vet, it was back when we lived in the city centre. Yeah, so we had to find that. We got it. That was all normal. So it wasn't that, but she was saying that it could be based on a hormone imbalance, which is why she would guess it would be that, because she sees the hair loss condition more on unneutered males. So that was then ruled out. And then the biopsies came back and they were all normal on the places where he's got complete hair loss to where he's got some hair still. She was going to test for Cushing's, but then she found the medical history to say that he's already been tested for Cushing's, and that came back, and he had the extensive urine test you have to go through for that. So then they've stumbled at a diagnosis of alopecia X, which is hair loss, but it is purely cosmetic. It's not anything. She said otherwise he's a healthy dog, he's got alopecia X. They can't get to an alopecia X diagnosis without going through all of these first of all. It's not what we were expecting to be diagnosed with. We thought it would be a hormone imbalance, it would be hormone therapy that we were going on. So then they've diagnosed him with alopecia X, which is kind of the name you give when you can't explain why you haven't got hair loss. There's no known cure for alopecia X. There are treatments that are sometimes work. The only one that is available in the UK is 40% effective, which is what we're about to go on to, and I'll come on to that in a second. I know most of our followers are in the US, and there are other treatments if your dog has alopecia X in the US, but they're not allowed here, and for me, for good reason. The vet told me one of them was, she said where he's had the biopsies, because she's taken out skin, he will develop new skin. Neighbour come without. Yes, the vet said that where they've given the biopsies, because they've taken out sections of skin, that will heal over and form new skin, and in those patches the hair will grow back because it's new skin that's formed, new healthy skin that's formed as well. So she explained that in the US what they do is they have a fine needle treatment, so the dog will go in for certain areas each time and have like a pinprick needle to cause scarring in the skin to then generate new skin for hair growth to return. That's not allowed in the UK because it sounds very cruel and unnecessary, but that is something that apparently can get done in the US, which really surprised me that people do that. For something that is fundamentally cosmetic, the only bit that bothers me with this diagnosis is it doesn't explain why his skin is itching him. So she's just said keep doing it with the oatmeal shampoo, which we've always done, so that I don't feel like that's going to help matters, because he's always been on oatmeal shampoo. That's like a hypoallergenic, dog friendly shampoo, all natural, so we're going to keep doing with that, and then we're going to try this treatment plan in the UK that is 40% effective. And there's one more thing that we can try, which is called coat therapy. So the medication that we're going on that's the 40% effective is called melatonin. That's quite an expensive medication, so the vet's just trying to source the best deal. It may be a human dose that we end up giving to him rather than a dog dose, because apparently the dog medicine of that form is really expensive, and sometimes it's cheaper to buy the human element of it. Vet prescribes it, we'll just take whatever the vet gives us. So she's going to source us some melatonin, and we're going to try that for 4 months and see if that generates any hair growth. There's no side effects really to that. It's just that I think you have to give it to him at night before bedtime because it can cause drowsiness. So that's the only side effect, so that's really good, and it's got a 40% success rate, so we'll give it a go. See if it helps with the itchiness of his skin. The vet doesn't understand why it's itchy, so I doubt it, but maybe if it's generating hair growth and fresher coat and healthier coat, then that will help the itchiness. And if that doesn't work, 60% chance that it won't work, we've got everything crossed. But if that doesn't work, then there's something called coat therapy, which the vet hasn't officially talked us through yet, but she basically explained it's like you get a special coat made for your dog that they end up wearing almost all the time, and it then promotes warmth that they would have had from the fur that they've lost, and somehow that tricks the body sometimes into thinking to regrow hair. That one seems a bit more like, I don't know what success rate that one's got. That one didn't come with a percentage success rate, and I'm not sure if I believe in something like that. And also, I don't really, like, it's summer in the UK, I don't really want to be putting a coat on Phil. He's not hot, he likes cold surfaces and stuff, so I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Obviously it's kind, it's nothing barbaric or anything like that, but I don't know, I just don't think Phil would like to wear clothing all day every day, and he loves to get wet and muddy and walk, so I can't see how that would work. We'd have to keep taking it on and off every time we go out, but we'll see. So yes, we're going to try this melatonin when it comes, and we'll update you once he's on it about the drowsiness, but we've got nothing to lose when we try this, and there's not really anything else that we can try other than coat therapy, which I might give a go in the winter. And the other thing we could try, which the vet has not suggested at all, it's just in my head, is feeding. We don't feed raw, we never have. I don't like the idea of it, never have. If it's a pet, I don't think you need to. There's so many great pet foods out there. And so I thought maybe these dogs, lots of people do feed them raw food, so I thought maybe I'll give that a try and change Phil's diet and see if that has any effect whatsoever. But I don't know about that one as well yet. I've got Mia in the house and it's completely illogical. Illogical, is that even a word? It's completely unlogical. I don't know. I just think with Mia in the house and raw meat being fed to your dog, I don't know, I just really don't like the idea of it. And I know it's silly, but I just can't get my head around it. So yeah, so that's everything we know today. We'll update you probably in a week's time once he's been on the melatonin for a week or so. But realistically, if it is effective, we might start seeing results within a month, maybe 2. And if there's no results within 4 months, then we'll have to come off of it because we must be one of the 60%. So yeah, wish us luck, and we will keep you updated. Say bye, Phil. Say bye. Give Phil. Say bye. Good boy. Say bye-bye, teddy bear. Good boy.